see me like fucking stuffing my face full of bullshit.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, hey guys, nice to meet you. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate all this, helping Maybert out, and she's, her kids are my godson, so we got that relationship, and we hopefully I get to come out and see you guys here pretty soon. But other than that, thanks for taking the time. And
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't listened to our podcast before, we're just a couple of dumb idiots that are just trying to, promote heavy metal. We're both in the military. We served together in the U.S. Army. I used to serve with Maybert's husband before he passed.
We like stuff.
Okay. Cool.
I fucking love stuff.
All right. So, hey, let's get going here. And Mark may leave some of this crap in. Who knows? But anyway, hey, this is Rhett here from Military Grade Metal. I got Mark Slam with me.
Hey.
We got some really special guests here today. I got Bjorn and Tim from Mourning, a Swedish melodic death metal, progressive metal band based off of which website I look at of your genre. I've been listening to you guys for a while, and I'm super excited to finally get to talk to you guys. So welcome to Military Grade Metal, gentlemen.
Yes, welcome. And I'm just as excited to get to talk to the people I hear Rhett talk about all the time. And then he's even led me into listening to some of the jams too. Rhett, if you don't mind, can I start off with one of my questions?
Okay.
All right. So guys, the Swedish death metal, melodic death metal scene, it really trips me out because it seems like y'all have a crazy good metal scene. So it leads into the question, aside from working on your own music and doing the whole band thing, who are y'all's go-to bands when it comes to just strolling down the fucking road and wanting to hear some good metal? Who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Of course, it's depending on the season.
Oh, true. Yeah, no, I feel that.
And I mean, at the moment, I'm totally lost in the new Gus G album.
Oh.
Huh.
I mean, I usually don't like, instrumental music and stuff. But, the Quantum Leap album he has is like over the top.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's awesome, too. It's always, I love it when a song jumps out at you and it's not something you would normally listen to, but you just fall in love with it.
Yeah,
I've got a weird one happening to me right now, but I won't tell you who that is.
Yeah, you got a Gus G autographed guitar.
I do.
Yeah.
I certainly do. Rhett, actually, that was the first kind of partner gift that Rhett gave me, a Firewind Gus G signed guitar with the COA and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, pretty
super.
Cool. Yeah, that's sick. I'm listening to a ton of Avatar right now. Like I can't.
Nice.
That song, The Dirt I'm Buried In is just a sick song. The video is pretty epic too, but you guys are coming out here you coming out with a new album here at the end of the year, right?
Nah, we're most likely not coming out with a new album by the end of the year, but we're working on a new album. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so you guys started back in 2000. That's when the band was formed, right? It was in 2000, and then you came out. A lot of this stuff I'm finding either on your Spotify or on your on your Facebooks and stuff like that. And you went live in 2005. Has the structure of the band changed a lot throughout that time, or?
Yeah, well, it seems it's an old band, and in the beginning it was both me and Tim joined in like 2007-ish, maybe 6, maybe. Because in the beginning they put out like a bunch of demos before releasing the first album, and changed some lineups and stuff, and then kind of took a turn to direction which we've been working from the first album. Like
I'm staring at your guys' faces right now on my my Apple iTunes. You got a shit-eating grin on your face, which I think is awesome. Both of you guys do. And so how you guys play and how how you perform. You guys are a much lighter version of dark, right? If that makes sense. I mean, it's almost like you guys are actually having fun out there.
Honestly, it's kind of clicking for me, Rhett. Like looking at the timeline of it all, like 05 to 07 era, sorry, is kind of my stomping grounds as far as the metalcore scene that, graduating high school I was in. And seeing that, it adds up to me because I've noticed a couple of you guys' songs are a little more melodic. And I think I can really feel the rub off there, like the 05 to 09, metal/metal core scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's always you're in your zone at the time, in the time period and where you're at, and probably it's a little bit affected of the time frame,
Sure.
Yeah. Now, as you guys are producing your next album, what are kind of big influences right now that you're seeing affect you compared to years ago as you guys proceed?
That's a good one.
That's a tough one. It's a good question. I would say if you're looking back on our previous albums and everything, we usually never been like a modern band, so to say.
Right. Yeah.
So I wouldn't say we would go more modern on this one, but at least we now know that there's modern people out there.
Yeah. And when you say modern, do you mean heavier or do you mean more melodic, or what does modern mean to end Mourning?
I would say heavier,
Nice. That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. More sport.
Hell yeah.
It's riffing. Yeah. But it's also it's like it's been from the beginning as well. It's a kind of we have kind of mixed influences from different genres, like within the different persons in the band, and also like as you guys said, like in things are gonna change both in your personal lives and in your music taste in like
Yes.
10 years. So no, but that's pretty much it. And I mean, at the same time as going heavier, like music wise, riffing and stuff, I think we're digging a lot heavier as well in terms of like lyrics and stuff as well, because I mean, also through life, if you live another 10 years, you're gonna be through 10 years worth of happenings and life, So,
10 years of hell.
yeah, but
Well, you progress now, as you guys continue to modify. So Prill, the drummer, he just left the band, right? He's going to Dark Tranquility, or is he the new guy that just came in?
no, that's Krille. If that,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mispronounced the name.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Actually. So I mean, we've been having this Jocke, our most recent drummer, who is now playing in Dark Tranquility. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys are changing. I do love your old stuff, like Isle of Solace. That's old school for me. It was because you actually made Fear Candy on Terrorizer magazine on that album. I think I have that CD, the actual CD from then. When you used to get them in the magazines and stuff. So yeah. I still have that one. I have to find it so you guys can autograph it for me. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is sick. I've got a question about shows. So I don't know. Me and Rhett kind of live an abundance of craziness in both of our lives. And one of the things that I do is I run sound at a couple of venues out here. The Aztec Theater, Vibes, the Rock Box. They're really good spots, really fun spots. But if there's one thing I've noticed when perusing along shows in y'all's necks of the woods, it seems like death metal festivals are just fucking huge out your way. Do you find that most of the shows you play are festivals or venue related shows?
I would say venue related for the most parts on our side.
Nice, cool.
In Sweden, I don't think there's so much death metal festivals. Like,
no,
more...
there are some coming up now. I think a few metal festivals, but I mean down in Europe, there's more.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And maybe it's whatever's being fed to my algorithm too. We all know how that works, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I'm just getting fed all the festival stuff. But either way, it looks killer. Like it just looks like the scene there for metal is phenomenal.
You guys played on a boat?
Have the same feed then, because as we're not playing festivals now and we're writing an album, so I see all these people playing festivals right now.
Yeah.
You're right. You ready to get back out there?
Yeah, I
Sure.
need to log off every
Hurts my
media.
eyes.
Yeah, really. It hurts my eyes and my heart. So
Yeah.
Rett said y'all played on a boat?
You guys played on a boat?
Yeah, we played on some boats now. We played the 70,000 tons of metal.
Oh, you must tell me how I have a buddy that goes to 70,000 tons every fucking year, and he says it is so sick.
Yeah, it's a surreal thing, I'd say.
Yeah. Did y'all get a good crowd reaction on 70,000 tons?
Yeah,
I think we
sure.
did, yeah.
We
Nice.
played the theater.
Yes.
Super big stage and all, and it's massive looking venue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That,
How was your sound guy? Was he good?
The sound guy.
Yeah. How was it?
Yeah, it was super. I mean, we always have our tiny, pedals which we plug
Right.
into PA and also, I mean, it is what it is.
That
Yeah.
is awesome, guy. I'm jealous of that. I still have not been to 70,000 tons of metal yet, and I have got to make my way on that boat one of these days.
It's a cool thing, I think, because you like squeeze all these metal people onto a boat like a lunch.
Yeah.
And band-wise as well, it's pretty cool because all bands do the like 2 shows, or at least did that year.
I was wondering about that. I was wondering if you just played one day and then stayed on the cruise, or if they have you playing multiple days.
No, as it was that, at least when we went, it was like, because we did the theater stage and then on the way out, kind of, and then was it a day off for everyone on an island, or pretty much?
That
Yeah.
sounds right.
And then it was shows on the way back, and then we played a smaller like club venue.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Damn,
so
that
it
is
was-
sick.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of bands that
Yeah.
play on a fucking
Yeah.
boat. I mean,
Just a shitload of bands on there.
yeah.
did you guys get to go total fanboy yourself and get to meet a bunch of, some bands that you and artists that you're really interested? Yeah, because
Yeah, I mean, first off, we need to clarify that we're from Sweden, and if we see someone we're gonna talk to, we're gonna go the other way.
That's hilarious.
A bunch of good bands though, and it's like also, I don't know, like as it's out on the sea, it's like it's no phone reception whatsoever.
Right.
It's just locked in a can and no connection to anyone. So if you're lost, you're lost. And it's
Yeah.
like,
It's whiskey and water slides, man.
find anyone. So it's like
No.
just stroll around everywhere and get sunburned and watch bands.
do you guys have any upcoming touring plans on the agenda? That's either local or outside of the region?
I mean, we only have one gig planned at the moment. That's in Norway, like late this year, and so we figured like we put all the steam into making
Writing.
a fucking great album now,
Nice. Hell yeah.
and then plan everything wisely and go touring and everything on the album.
Okay, and then you'll start that sometime next year. And are you going to try to go south to do touring, especially during the winter? Because it kind of can be kind of painful trying to tour up north. Even though you guys
Yeah,
are
I'm
pros
gonna
at snow,
say-
I get it, but
Yeah,
it is,
yeah, sure.
it's like 7,200 Celsius in where Mark lives and down in Texas.
Oh, it's
So.
hot as fuck, y'all.
Yeah, I will see what happens, but at least we're in we're trying to plan and write at the same time, and you
Yeah.
know when big tours and everything needs to be planned way ahead. So I mean, we'll see if it's going to be late next year or whatever.
Now, that's interesting. What is your guys' process for writing? Like, what do you guys go through? Do you start laying down drum tracks first as you're going through this? Is it all in someone's head? Is it a collaboration? How do you guys go about writing
I
this next
actually
album?
really like that question, Rhett. I want to take a guess before y'all tell us, if you don't mind. I'm
Sure.
imagining both of you sitting around. Probably, do we go full underwear on it, or do we keep our clothes on for writing?
I mean, it depends on which day it is.
Nice. No, I thought that was hilarious. I had to throw it in there. You guys go ahead. That's funny though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different situation for a different guy, in the band. And Tobias, it's like the main writer of the band. He can put up a empty, in his DAW, and just lay out some drum tracks or whatever, and start to riff. Me on the other half, if I need to write something, I need to narrow it down a bit.
Right.
I need to figure out if it's gonna be a slow or a fast song, like before I start.
No, that makes sense to me for sure. And I think, like you're saying, Rhett, the DAW is like Pro Tools or Ableton or Reaper, right? So the drummer will record stuff in there. And with it being a digital age, I mean, hell, you can throw it right into Google Drive, someone else pull it out on the other side and get to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's how we usually do now. And at the moment, we're writing with a drummer from Germany, and we need to send stuff, all the time. So,
oh yeah,
the guys, we who play guitar in the band, we live in the same region, so we can just walk to each other. So.
I mean, of course, that's changed as well, because I mean, earlier we were all living in the same area, and we were a very rehearsing band. Rehearsed through all material, like in rehearsal space, and building it like that. But now it's like, well, logistics and stuff. So we're gonna meet up and rehearse, like when stuff is getting more finalized, and like check it in a live room, and then go off the studio.
So when you guys released this last, you did live in Valley Sound Studio back in 22. You were able to get the whole band together then. I mean, how'd that feel? Because that sound is really good. That whole, studio session just crushed it. I mean, how were you guys feeling whenever you were playing then? How much practice did you guys get together?
Yeah,
that whole year.
that was intense.
Yeah, I mean,
spill it.
But I mean, I think it was very nice story. We did record, like for the album, we recorded guitars in that studio, and it was a very nice studio. And we
like the studio album, you mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry. We recorded the guitars for the studio album, Bleeding Veil, in the studio where we later recorded the live album.
Nice. That's really interesting to me. I did a lot of live recording stuff at the studio in War Drum last year, and that is really cool. Did y'all like the vibe of all being in the studio and being plugged in and just jamming?
Yeah, sure. And I mean, the vibe of that studio, that particular studio, was so cool, and
nice.
I didn't want to go out from the space, when we were tracking for the album. So that's why we got the idea to make a live album, live in studio album, and the dream come true to do. And it's a really cool thing to see if we really could pull it off, because it's pretty intense rehearsing to get, a whole set of playing.
Oh yeah, and even though there's post-production, I mean, when you're y'all know just as well as everybody else, when you're recording, it only gets as good as what goes in that microphone. So you've got to be tight. I mean, when you're, especially in that small of a room, all the mics are picking up everybody else's stuff too. So if you're not tight, it can really come out a mess, but I think it sounds awesome.
It was a pretty special, as you said, we because when we were tracking the guitars, we basically used that live room as an amp room, having amps recorded, and it felt like, hell, this is a super beautiful room,
Nice.
Got to record as a band in it. And I mean, playing live is one thing, and recording an album in studio is one thing, but this is kind of a third thing when you have to, when you're in a studio environment, yet recording as a live band is really. I was.
I mean, actually,
hard, but
and like actually, at the no one knows this, but actually, we were about to do. It was the COVID stuff, and we were thinking of doing, a live event.
Ooh, like a digital live event?
Yeah, exactly, like a show. Yeah, digital show, and but a couple of days ahead, the guys who were supposed to stream the event, they didn't want to do it. So we were, everything was booked.
Oh man,
with the studio and the tech and everything. So we need like 2 days before we called our friend Jonna who made a couple of music videos for us.
yeah.
So we're like ready to hop on and just, can you do like fucking massive production here, like 2 days?
Well, that's how we started out. Mark and I actually started Wavestream Live that way, and we would bring bands into the studio, and then we would live stream them online. And then, of course, you buy tickets through Eventbrite and stuff to watch them online, and then you can watch the recording afterwards too. It's good, the camera angles, and I think one guy sat on the smoke button a little too long, so we were able to film.
Yeah.
We lived and learned some experiences about live streaming pretty quick, but it was a lot of fun. Getting the people that you could get in there and actually seeing the reaction of the fans. We'd be able to cram 15, 20 people into the room with the band, and the band's playing a live gig, and then also texting and receiving communications online. As we're going through the texts and the feedback's coming in, requesting specific songs from different bands. It's a fun experience. We had a lot of fun doing it. So if you ever get the opportunity to do it, especially if you come to the States, we'll definitely make that happen. Cause that's kind of our forte, right? So
I would absolutely love that. One of my favorite things about doing those streams was watching Rhett get happy as a schoolgirl to get in that chat room. He'll be in there killing the chat. I loved it.
Yeah, it's it comes from I'm just total fanboy. So I'm your guys' fanboy. Mark's the the engineer behind the scenes doing all the mixing and all the work. And now that we're doing all this live stuff, that Mark's keeping himself busy and touring and stuff as well. It's I'm just a fanboy, and I just want to hear really good music and just get out there and mosh in the pit. So it's that's why I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with next. Fans were never satisfied. We want to know what's next, and then keep going. Just keep going that process over and over again.
Maybe that's our next big trip, Rhett. Maybe we make our way out there and just literally plan like a 3-day turnaround for an Mourning show.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah. Norway, November.
Yep.
No, that's plenty of time.
Could be cold.
Yeah. Nice and warm in Norway in November. Absolutely.
Oh man, I can't even imagine coming from the heat here to what I can only imagine is unbearable cold there. It would be insane.
It's good for you. Good to need some cold.
Let me ask y'all this, and I've got a limited amount of time today. I think Rhett's going to keep talking to you, but if I could sign off, I think this conversation led right to the best ender for me. So obviously it's freezing where you guys are. You're super into metal. You've got cold ass hearts, which is beautiful. Do you do the cold ice bath plunges?
Huh?
Cold plunge, like where you get into an ice bath, super cold water?
No.
Nice, good.
I've done it.
Is it crazy? Is it good or bad?
I mean, if you can handle, to get your breathing down to like normal, I'd say it's okay. But if you don't, it's not worth it. You can't do it.
I try to work with that.
If you can't keep yourself from freaking out, absolutely don't do it.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you're the type of guy, Rhett, that would love a nice ice bath.
Yeah, because I'm cold-hearted. I got a cold heart.
Hey, yep, I didn't say it.
But you should try. Haven't you done it in the shower? Like put it on the coldest.
I like you. Baby steps. I need to start there.
Well, so I had this conversation with Mark a while ago, and this is where, you know, sometimes I question, this is why his nickname Slam for several reasons.
Oh, Jesus
But
Christ.
so Mark, you know, I remember he's always complaining. He's like, I got to take a shower, and he's all depressed and bummed out. I'm like, what the hell's the problem? He's like, well, I get in the shower and I turn it on, and it takes forever for it to warm up. And then, you know, so literally the moron's literally standing in front of the shower as he turns it on. It's nothing but cold water. So I just said, hey, why don't you wait until the water heats up and then step into the shower? And then the light bulb went off in Mark's brain. And he's like,
Not anymore, though, Rhett, because I'm getting told all the secrets. If I want to start cold plunging, I'm just going to cut it on and jump right in and see what happens. I think it's going to sound like this.
You're going to do it in reverse now. You start warm and then you go cold.
Yes, little by little. I don't got to do it all at once.
Yeah. That was very insightful, Mark. I appreciate that. That was deep.
I figured that you guys would love that. Hey, look, y'all, I hate that I have to go, but I need to jump off of here. Rhett's going to treat you good. It was great talking to y'all. And if you ever find out that you are coming to the United States, or if we ever find out that we're coming out your way, we must link up and have a couple of beers and a good time.
Yeah,
Sure.
All right. Treat them nice, Rhett. I'm out of here, y'all.
Later, Slam. Stay metal.
All right. Stay metal, guys.
All right, gents. Well, that was Mark. So you got to see a whole bunch of not Mark. So we'll make sure that every time he speaks and his screen pops up, we're going to put a really ugly picture of him doing something stupid, which is really
you
easy
can
to
have
do.
you know, when you took like the school photograph when you were a kid and no one wasn't there, you can have a folded in, you know, one little picture.
We'll just slide. We'll like manually slide it in too, so it's like on a stick or something like that. So, but yeah, so you know,
maybe choose some different. We can a new one each time he talks. You know, just add a new handsome picture.
He's going to do all the work anyway, so you know it'll be. He'll come up with something.
That's right. That's what he's going to choose.
Oh yeah, but he usually chooses the most obnoxious ones too. So, you know, artists, you guys are a pain to lock down. He's no different, right? So, you know, I like to be very prompt and on time. You guys are Scandinavian, so you get that being prompt and on time. But you're also artists, so you're very sloppy. You're probably late than not. And just all artists are like that, right? So anyway, now we're just complaining about everything, but yeah. So what got you individually, personally, what got you guys into metal way back in the day? Do you remember your first album that you listened to that really got you into metal? Mine was Rat Dancing Undercover. That was the album that got me in the 80s. Really started my transition into 80s butt rock and then into heavy metal. What do you guys have that specific album or band or genre that really kind of got you guys into it?
Well, I started out in punk. The Misfits, you know, was for a long time the biggest band for me, like that. And then I got some Kiss Destroyer album, and then Metallica, and then it was a big time of Metallica, and then at some point later dove deep into a lot of other metal, you know. So
okay, yeah.
This specific memory of a moment where a friend of mine who has an older brother who didn't particularly listen to metal at all, but by some reason had a CD of Dimmu Borgir's, I forget the album title now, but a Dimmu Borgir album, which I borrowed and I then got so like hit by it, you know. So and then I went off into different kind of heavier metals, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember very specifically that I bought. I was 6 years old, and I bought Peace of Mind with Iron Maiden at the local grocery store, and I couldn't stop listening to the album, you know, and watching the inside, you know, of the band.
Yeah,
you know, I needed to know. I was listening to the vocals, you know, and I was figuring out which of the guys who are singing which part, you know. I don't know, because it was a different voice. I was thinking at maybe it was a different guy, you know, and I found it very interesting. And you kind of lose that now when you know everything, you know.
Yeah, that's true. When you're paying really, you don't have to pay close attention to the details anymore. You know, that's why I miss the booklets, you know, either in the cassettes or in the CDs, so that you can actually kind of read through that. And like you said, you know, now we got old videos. I remember when I was a kid, I remember when David Lee Roth came out with All Dave, All Night on MTV, and MTV just started off and they actually played nothing but music videos. And it was, I miss those days a lot, right? But you know, I remember seeing Dimmu Borgir. The first time I had ever listened to Dimmu Borgir, like really listened to him, was actually live in front. They were at one of the side stages at Wacken in 97 or 98. And the reason I remembered them that stood out is because this jerk was in the middle of the mosh pit, and moshing, no shirt on, has a razor blade around a necklace, and just his whole front, everything's all butchered, you know, and you're like, oh, get away from it. It's disgusting. But this band is sick.
Yeah. Also, there's, as I say, it's a special time in life when it was like when music was really magical, like going to your first live gigs when you didn't really. Now, I mean, we played live gigs and you see a lot of other aspects of it, and the same when you see a lot of what happens on album recordings and stuff. Like back then, you didn't know anything. It was just, you know, you got this booklet and heard this fucking awesome music.
Yeah,
it was like
it kind of lose the magic.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, in one way. Yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense, because you know that's, you know, I don't want to meet my idols, right? It's because what if you get let down?
Exactly.
Yeah. So some of the old school, like I got a picture, right? I don't know if you can really see it too well here, but it's me stage diving with Skid Row back when Sebastian Bach was still lead singer. And I saw him in Stuttgart, Germany in 1996. I think it was 96. Oof. And up on stage, you know, it's back whenever the bouncers would let you actually jump up on stage and, you know, just singing. I remember singing Youth Gone Wild with Sebastian Bach, and then jumped right up, crowd surfed into the crowd, you know, landed on some poor souls, you know, kind of like old school Misfits concerts, right?
Yeah. And you have an actual picture of it.
Yeah,
of that moment. I don't see it because our picture is in the way.
So let me see if I could see. So that's me. See if there's any glare.
Yeah.
But great. Yeah, that's me stage diving, and then you got Sebastian Bach right there, Rachel Bolan playing the bass, and then some random German dude screaming at the stage at the same time. But yeah, my buddy was able to take this picture with a with one of those was able to take this picture with one of those wind up cameras.
No, that's great.
Yeah, that's a good photo. Sure. Good memory.
Yeah, I got really lucky, and they were able to blow that old school grainy stuff up. But the you know, getting into I remember the Misfits, Maybritt, our friend Maybritt, you know, one of your biggest fans, she got me into the Misfits way back in the day. You know, she got all my kids have a whole bunch of Misfits t-shirts when they were babies, and kind of, you know, as we were growing up, we always had that in common. But I was always a Bay Area thrash guy. But then I've moved into Scandinavian metal. I'm a diehard Amorphous fan. One of your guys' biggest fans now, since Maybritt introduced me to you. I named my daughter after Nodo Lohimo, the lead singer for Battle Beast. So yeah, we're kind of a metal family, you know.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah. But now you guys are, but back to you guys, what's more important. So now that you guys are kind of spread out all over, we talked a little bit about it. Yeah. I mean, you have to be much more focused on deliberately building music instead of, you know, because you could send me something, but if I'm down in Germany and I'm busy, you know, because we all have lives, like, how do you guys stay on track? Or is it seems like it takes much longer to produce an album nowadays?
Yeah, I suppose, I mean, right now we kind of decided to start making an album, you know, so everybody knows that things is cooking, you know, and for the music, mostly Tobias and Corny down in Germany are, you know, doing the music parts, you know, with the drums and everything, and for the lyrics, I mean, me and Bjorn writes the lyrics, most likely going to do it on this one as well. So I guess we can meet up, but still, you know, you need to start off the, you know, the process. So there's like a start mark for that or something.
Okay. Now, how do you come up with how do you guys come up with the lyrics? Do you follow some themes? Like how do these lyrics come up to you guys as you're writing?
Usually for me it starts, you know, I need to gather a lot of information. Doesn't matter what kind of information, you know, I just want to read something or watch TV show or whatever, you know. It just starts up with something, you know, and then me and Bjorn, we talk a lot. I mean, we talk a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, like on the first album where we wrote lyrics together, it was kind of the end of a already started story, so we had all that to keep to in one way, and then we did the latest album, Bleeding Veil, totally new, where we like was.
Yeah, because you know, I mean, it's kind of the storied you know, history of music is you've had your whole life to prepare for that first album. You know, to use Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, right? They had their whole lives together to build up to that first album. And then it's like, okay, cool, you're successful, make your second album. And you know, that churn of always thinking, always writing, you guys find yourselves like just constantly taking down notes and ideas and brainstorming, especially with you two being so close. You know, you can you understand each other so well. How do you guys feed off each other whenever, you know, do you just kind of nod, be like, yeah, that's okay, or do you say, hey, that's a really dumb idea, let's throw it in the trash? How do you guys kind of go through that when you guys are collaborating to build something?
But it's still a hard it's still another step of like, yeah, we talk a lot and I can talk about whatever feelings with Tim, but it's still, you know, when you put whatever you're writing from to each other, it's still, you know, it's still a new moment where you have to like kind of break some ice, or kind of, you know, you really have to drop your pants to like to get to the depths where you want to be digging, I think.
Yeah.
And
the last album we did, we actually made a rule that like we were writing in a Dropbox folder, and if I were writing something, and I work in shifts, so maybe I was writing in the nighttime, and when Bjorn woke up and he was reading my stuff, and if he would get an idea upon what I've been writing, he could cut out what he wanted and just add what he wanted. The rule was not to save anything.
Okay.
You know, just cut everything out that you don't want. Even if I was super happy with the result I was writing, you know, still, you know, if it bounced to a different direction when Bjorn was reading it and wanted to write something else, that was the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, obviously it took a long turn before we got to the point, but when we got to the point, the two of us was super happy, you know.
Yeah. And I think like also it takes a while, you know, you start writing and you go through ideas and start writing stuff, and then but it still takes a while of doing that until you really tap into the universe where we're gonna be like for this album. And then when you're in there, it's pretty much all in your mind all the time. Like,
yeah, that's fascinating.
Least,
do you guys find that now the song that you started, at least the the premise, or kind of like the lyrics of how you figured it out at the beginning looks nothing like the finished product? Have you guys gone that full circle now? Like, hey, we started talking about, this story, but now it ended up in this beautiful finished product, but it had nothing to do with that original story. Do you guys find like as you do that, because you're changing things constantly, and if you're constantly changing, eventually there's not a single original word in there because you have played on it so much. You guys find that happening more often than not now, especially now that you guys continue to get to know each other and how each other thinks, and also know how to take advantage of each other's storylines?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And I mean, it's always, it's the killing your darling stuff, with if so many people talk about that, and you can't be afraid of losing, a good start or whatever, because you need to trust the process.
Yeah, that's it, right? Yeah, it's trust the process.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's tough to do it, because mostly it feels like I'm meandering in some, I don't know what I do. But when we've been talking and working a lot, just eventually it's at some point, it's just everything falls down on the table.
Yeah, and it's really it's like kind of inspiring to do that as well, because it really shows you that I wrote these lines which meant these things to me, and then I send it over and Tim opens it up and thinks like a completely different part of it is the important part due to another reason, and we build off of that, and it takes you places you wouldn't have gone yourself.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. And do you find, do all of your lyrics basically get placed on top of the notes that you guys come up with, or do you try to build the music around the lyrics, or both? Is there, what's the process? Like you said, trust the process.
Like usually, I mean, the music gets written first, and then depending on which part are more important, like is the melody very important now, so we need to sculpture the lyrics for the melody, or is the lyrics the most important now, so we need to sculpture the melody after the lyrics. And that's a tough one, because I mean, we always struggle with that. I mean, it's with screaming vocals, it's easier because you can think of you don't need to think of melodies. It's more like rhythmic patterns and stuff. But when you go to clean vocals and everything, I mean, it needs to be a good melody for it,
Yeah, and also, I mean, like screaming vocals has their own effect to things, so it's sometimes, or maybe it's because we're more used to writing that, but sometimes it's harder to like, sometimes like lyrics for clean vocals comes across in a completely different way, where you have to be, I don't know how to put it, you have to match it
with deliverance.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Now, whenever you guys are performing live, kind of talking about, hey, you see the science behind it. Now it's not magic for us that are out in the audience. Like, how do you guys how do you guys prep for your live performances, and then what's it like to just go out on that stage and watch all of us just go freaking nuts? And then how do you guys perform? How do you guys move around on the stage and go through that?
I mean, the exchange of the audience, and for me as a performance, is key for me. I mean, that's the main reason why I do this, I think. It's obviously we plan stuff for, it needs to be a rock show. I mean, as as said earlier here, we're looks like we're happy on stage and all, and we are happy on stage. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone wants to play in Iron Maiden, right? So I mean, that's a happy rock band, but still will play aggressive music and everything. But it's still, you know, it feeds off the energy exchange a lot. So that's like the preparation for that. I don't know if you can prep for that, but I mean, warm up and stuff, it's easy, but also to be very precise with your show. I mean, if you know your stuff, it's going to be easier to forget everything and just go with the flow.
Yeah, now, you know, coming from, you know, binge listening to Gus G, and also wanting to be, you know, technically a perfectionist, which, you know, your genre of music tends to go towards that, versus the more just kind of off the cuff. I want to get crazy and jumping all over the place. How do you find yourself whenever you guys are reading the crowd? Do you guys ever change things up because, you know, you have a different crowd every night? So you get those technical nerds that, you know, that want to listen to, you know, are sitting there just staring at every move your hands make, versus those of us that just want to get in there and start having a good time and start jumping up and down kind of thing. How do you guys balance that out? Because you're in that genre, right? Where it's technical versus, you know, progressive, you know, versus, you know, hey, just more smiling and having a good time. Yeah, rock.
I mean,
I think it is that for us as well. It is technical versus rock, you know, because it's like, and you have to practice your technical to the point where you can, as you said, like, don't think about that so much, and like focus to be there and then, and like to, because there's a lot of connection, and that's why, I mean, it's gonna be different from one night to another because there's different people there, and it's gonna.
I mean, it's the same with, I mean, take your daytime job or whatever, you know, if you know your stuff, it's easier just to go and work. You know, you don't need to put so much attention to what if something breaks, you know, with the guitar or whatever. You know, if you just know in the back of your mind that you know everything, and also that you have rehearsed, I mean, you don't need to think of the parts. It's much easier just to let your muscles do whatever they will do. And I focus a lot on that. You know.
Yeah,
I mean, things go sideways, and then you need to be able to really snap back and then you really need to have the stuff you're gonna play and stuff you're gonna have in the backbone, because your mind's gonna be like thrown off, and then you need to snap back into it. And I mean, so preparation, I think, is important.
How do you guys determine your set list now that you have so many albums out and so many different songs? How do you guys determine your set list when you do go out? Like, you got a show coming up in November. How you picking the songs there?
We have very long songs. You realize that when you make set lists. It's a big puzzle pieces.
We usually try to narrow it down, you know, like we usually want to play a song from every album, because maybe there's someone out there who likes one album more than another, and we'll feel very happy that we play a song from the album. But as Bjorn says, we have long songs and short set lists, so maybe that's not the case that we can do it. So we need to take, I don't know, you know, cool songs or.
Yeah, and I think also like through, I mean, that changes maybe through time as well, but usually like when making an album and rehearsing that album, some songs just pop out as a good, like, yeah, this is a live song that we want to like play live. And we have some of those that has just presented themselves as songs that we want to play live. But it's a puzzle, and now it's hard to, like, if we do a festival with a shorter set, it's hard to we can't even fit songs from each album anymore. So it's hard.
do you find it that are you able to, kind of shorten some of your songs just so you can get through more, or is that sacrilegious? Like, nope, we will, if we're going to pick the song, we're going to play the song from beginning to end, because you are telling a story.
Yeah, we talked about doing that sometimes, for a video, but never for a live show. We couldn't agree though which part to cut out, so we didn't do it.
No, I think we've never done that live either.
No, we haven't.
No.
Yeah. So how do you guys go about video production, and what goes into that for you guys to prep for that, and then what are the ideas? Who comes up with some of the ideas because the images are what really the images definitely help us. Like you were saying about Iron Maiden, trying to figure out who's singing who's singing at certain times. But the video presents to me a visual story that may or may not be even close to how I personally imagine that song going. But I mean, all your videos are freaking spot on. So what do you guys go through in the process on spelling that out? Or is it pretty easy for you because you did create the lyrics and you already have a story in your head?
Both me and Bjorn think very much in pictures when we write, and we used to say that before we can settle on a song, the lyrics for a song, we need to choose which color it will have. And I mean, I don't mean color in the way like a color, but it's like, what kind of robe do we place around this song and this lyric? And if you have that in your mind, I mean, it's super easy if you find someone who is so good to work with as Jonna, who we have been working with. I mean, the same is working with her. If we tell her something, it bounces off to a different direction, and comes back to us, and everything is you need to be a lot of people working, because that's more fun.
Yeah, totally.
And Bjorn? Yeah.
No, it's the what he said. No, totally. And I mean, it's about also, finding these people that stuff happens with. If you throw a ball and it bounces in a different direction, and not just any direction, a good one. Like, so it's like and with her, when we started making videos, sparks were flying, and it was really good. And I mean, we also, as you said, we dress the songs in robes or colors, and like, even within lyrics and stuff, it's also usually a lot of metaphors and stuff like that, which it's a lot of pictures, basically. When writing.
Yeah, that's great. And as we're wrapping up here, because we're coming up on an hour here, let's close it out with your fan base, because that's one of the main reasons you perform, right? I know you perform for yourselves, but at the same time, you're also performing for the fans, and you have a solid fan base. You got a lot of listeners, on all of the media, across the media. You got a lot of viewers. You're growing. I know in 5 years, you're going to be nowhere close than you guys are today. You're going to be much bigger and much busier, and we all hope so. But like, tell me how awesome is your fan base right now?
Yeah, as you said, I mean, it's thanks to the people who listen to the music. I mean, that's why the band exists. I mean, without that, we wouldn't be out playing. And that's everything.
It's super awesome, and it's also really it's really flattering, and it's really weird, like hard to take in when you meet people that are really like deeply into the music that you made. And such. And it's all about the meeting people, like on live shows. And
and I kind of see it as, when I go out and play and have fun, I mean, the byproduct is me having fun. Other people, I like, how should I put it? I like to be you know, it's a Friday night and people want to go out and have fun. I like to be the one, the joker.
Yeah.
To make people have fun and have a good time.
That's awesome. You know, I mean, you could have gone a whole lot of different places, yet you chose to come to this concert. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you guys get to go out and meet your fan base after every show? You guys go out into the crowd, and is your fan base going to start screaming at you because you don't have a show for a few more months, and they're starting to demand that you guys get out there again?
Oh yeah, hopefully. I would say, and we'll see if they are screaming louder than I am.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that we're gonna start screaming. It's gonna be good vocals on the new album.
Yeah, that's great.
Frustrated. Oh.
Yeah. But hey, thanks a lot, guys. I really do appreciate your time. Is there any last comments, Bjorn? I'll start with you. If there's anything you want to say out there to the metalverse that we're going to publish this out to.
No, just again, like we said, thanks to everyone taking an interest, and thanks to you having us here. It's great chatting with you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I especially like the story with Sebastian Bach.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, right on. Well, hey, gents, I really do appreciate it. Hope to have you guys on here again. And for everybody out there, Bjorn and Tim from Mourning, look out for their stuff. Make sure you watch them, you listen to them, because there's a lot more coming from this awesome band. And everybody out there, stay metal.